Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, we review, we make fun of, we laugh at stuff over here. We're sponsored by McClures.store. We sell quality American products. Hit us up, www.mcclures.store. See if we have anything that you need, you want, or that you just want to get to support me. Check it out. Great website, good products, made in America. We're going to be checking out a Matt Walsh video today. Michael Knowles got into a little controversy over a speech he gave at CPAC. So this is Matt Walsh's breakdown of it. And let's hear what he has to say. I'm curious.
Comfort in the fact that if on any given day I am not personally being accused of launching a genocidal campaign against marginalized people, then someone else at the Daily Wire certainly is. So on Saturday it was, of course, Michael Knowles, who stepped up to the plate, delivering a speech at CPAC that landed him in hot water with the media. But as far as the media is concerned, of course, he didn't give a speech at all. He only uttered one single phrase, and all the rest of the context, everything else he said, was irrelevant noise. As they breathlessly and hysterically reported, Knowles called for the eradication of transgenderism. Actually, that's not what they reported. They reported that he called for the eradication of transgender people. According to the headlines in various outlets and the panicked social media posts of countless trans activists and other leftists, he had explicitly advocated for the mass execution of the transgender community itself. It was a mask-off moment, they declared. The right was finally...
That is extremely interesting. Why does the left media do that? It doesn't quite make sense to me. Is there that many stupid people who won't look into it? They're just going to believe the news when they say, yeah, right-wing commentator says that we should kill all transgenders? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Revealing its true intentions. They're setting up camps as we speak. The extermination is about to begin. And they got all of that from this statement. Watch.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too.
It is false.
And if it's false, then we should not indulge it.
Correct.
Especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
So the entire preposterous ideology at every level. So this fake concept that society has adopted where they think men and women are just interchangeable at a whim, we just need to get rid of that whole notion because it's bullshit. I don't see what he said wrong there.
So they lied. It's no surprise that they lied. The media quite often lies. And as I've warned you many times, trans activists in particular lie about literally everything all the time. They lie to themselves and about everything else. So they'll certainly lie and say that Michael Knowles pushed for a holocaust of trans people, when in fact he called for the defeat of an ideology, an idea. And if he was saying that he wanted to work for the eradication of malaria, that would not mean that he was murdering people with malaria. In fact, the only reason that you would want to eradicate malaria is because you feel compassion towards the people with malaria. Okay, you wouldn't, if you didn't care about those people, then you say, well, let's let them die of malaria. In the same way, a person who truly loves those who've fallen into transgenderism should want to eradicate the...
He's leading up to a good point, though. How are we supposed to help the youth of the nation and the upcoming generation if all the adults in the room, quote unquote, are going to stand up and pretend that this is okay and that it's real? I don't know why we're buying into this. It's International Women's Day, and I think more men have gotten awards across the globe than women. It's lunacy.
Ism for their sake and for the sake of society at large. But is a term like eradicate over the top? Does it have a needlessly militant tone? No, definitely not. The tone may be militant, but not needlessly so. We are,
Eradicate
after all,
means
in
get
a war,
rid of, bro. Completely.
and lives are at stake. We are in a war against the most deranged ideology ever invented by the human race. Plain and simple. We are fighting to eradicate the ideological equivalent of a parasitic infestation. And the parasite, gender ideology, seeks to not only brainwash a generation of children, not only degrade and appropriate womanhood, but also, and manhood, by the way, but also, and most fundamentally, it seeks to eat away at truth itself, or if it cannot devour the truth, then at least it will destroy our ability to recognize the truth for what it is. Eradication of gender ideology, total defeat, is the only option because there's no compromise with it. There's no living side by side with it. There's no finding common ground. The gender ideologue wants to destroy your culture and your children. You will either rise up against it or lose everything to it. I mean, how do you compromise with someone who wants to sterilize and castrate children? Do you agree to only sexually mutilate half of the kids? Is that the compromise? Or how do you compromise with someone who wants to rewrite biology textbooks to teach students that men can get pregnant?
Wow.
What is the compromise position between men can get pregnant and men cannot get pregnant? Okay? When it comes to what we're going to tell people, what we are going to teach kids in school, what idea is going to be promoted by society, between those two options, what's the middle ground? There isn't one.
Correct.
That's why this is a zero-sum contest.
Correct.
Either we destroy gender ideology, eradicate it from public life, utterly defeat it, burn it to the ground and dance around its ashes, or it does the same to us and to our children. That's the point. But there's another.
That's kind of the crux of the issue right there, isn't it? It's kind of an all or nothing. It's kind of an all or nothing. Either everybody gets 100% on board with this false reality that whatever you feel like that day is actually who you are. Or we can all go back to where we used to be, like, I don't know, not even that long ago, 5 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, where we knew this was a terrible ailment that some people suffer with. We should give them the courtesy to deal with their mental illness. But no, instead, we're going to pretend their mental illness is not a mental illness. And it's in fact everybody else's mental illness to not see their reality. Yeah, like it hurts my brain to even try to wrap my head around this lunacy.
Another point too, and this is something that I want to say specifically to the trans activists who are now crying and panicking and hysterically ranting about imaginary genocides. I say they're doing that now. They didn't just start doing it now. They've been doing it all along. This is all they ever do.
Yeah.
But I want you, if you're in that group, I want you to listen to this part very closely. Please always remember this. You started it. You started it. So I see you on social media and on the news and out marching the street, crying your crocodile tears and claiming that you're being set upon by fascist right-wingers who won't let you just live your lives.
Those are 100% facts, Leslie. Both of those. Yes, they want to live in the fantasy section. Not only do they want to live in the fantasy section, you have to believe that their fantasy section is not a fantasy section. It's crazy. It's crazy.
In peace. What did we ever do to you, you cry? Why are you so angry at us? Well, let me answer that question. You see, the rest of us were living our lives. We were minding our own business when you came along and demanded that we abandon everything we know about fundamental physical reality for your sake. That's what
Correct.
you did.
Exactly.
You claim the right to walk into whatever bathroom you want, whatever locker room, whatever sports team. Nobody else has ever had that right. Nobody else has ever had that right to just do whatever they want, go anywhere they want. But you wanted it. You came after our children, seeking to suck them into your suicide cult just to make yourselves feel better. You tried to restructure human society to make it affirming to you personally. You wanted to force the whole world to bend to your narcissism. You tried to put words in our mouths. You tried to control how we speak, even when you're not in the room. Your ego is so out of control that you even tried to take possession of parts of the English language, like you can own them as a pet. You waved that hideous, ridiculous flag in our face and wouldn't stop waving it. You demanded not just tolerance, but celebration. You did all of that. That was you. And now you cry victim because some of us have simply answered no?
Nope.
You
Not
made
doing it.
demands. Many
Don't buy
people
it.
surrendered to those demands immediately, but some of us, a few of us, are refusing. And that makes you what? A victim? You bullied most people into submission right away, but now you want to compare yourselves to Jews in the Holocaust because a few of us can't be controlled so easily? Well, that is just a testament to your boundless narcissism. It didn't have to be this way. If you were really interested in privacy, if you really simply wanted the ability to live your life as you wished, then you could have had that. So you could have had that. If you had just said, well, I'm going to live as though I'm the opposite sex, and I'm going to tell everyone that I'm the opposite sex, and I'm going to change my name and how I dress, and I'm going to do all of this because it's what I want to do and it's how I want to live. Well, if you had just said that, you could have done that. I personally still would not have agreed with your lifestyle, and I personally would not have gone along with the charade, and I would not have affirmed the lie. I would not have. But society generally would have.
That's kind of the whole problem with this stupid victimhood mentality everybody's running around with in America. This is America. Do you. Like, no one's going to stop you. The whole problem is forcing everybody else to agree with what you're doing. We don't agree. We don't want to agree. We don't want to see it. And we don't want to talk to our kids. This isn't complex. This isn't hard. Keep your mental issues between you and your therapist. I don't want to hear about them.
Have left you alone as you claim you want. And I know that because that was already the experience of the very small minority of trans-identified people in this country up until the last decade or so. Prior to this past decade, this tiny group of people basically lived the lifestyle they wanted to live, and there wasn't much attempt to stop them from doing so. We didn't really talk about it. It wasn't discussed. It was very much on the fringes. But that wasn't good enough for you. In your vanity, you couldn't be satisfied merely with the ability to live how you want. You demanded the celebration. You needed not just the ability to practice your lifestyle, but you needed a parade following behind you and cheering you on the whole time.
Yep.
And you needed affirmation. My God, your obsessive, unquenchable need for affirmation. Have you noticed that nobody else walks around every day demanding that the entire world affirm them every second? No one ever did that. No one has lived their life that way, walking around looking for affirmation. None of the rest of us even think about that. The idea that you're going to walk out your door and you need to be affirmed by people. Affirmed? How is that anyone's job to affirm you?
These are good questions.
You decided to do it.
These are good questions.
You couldn't just believe whatever you believed about yourself. Nobody can stop you from having a belief about yourself. You wanted the rest of us to believe it too. You wanted to force us to believe it. You wanted society to be restructured around your self-perceptions, and you wanted our children. You wanted to induct countless children into your confusion, baptize them into it, so that the confusion you foster in them might
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that people are finally standing up to this ideology and trying to protect children. But why did it take so long? That's my thing. Why did we wait till after they've been attacking our children to go, hey, wait, you probably shouldn't do that? Uh, and I guess it started with the whole slippery slope of gay marriage in the first place. Conservatives called it a slippery slope, and it was. It has been. It's been a spiraling downhill trend of degeneracy and sexuality pushed into the public space. Back in the day, I was never against gays getting married. I didn't see the whole fight for it. I didn't get it. I wasn't political at the time, really. I didn't care. Let gay people do whatever gay people want to do. It didn't matter to me. I didn't understand the argument. Now that I have gone on a somewhat of a spiritual journey the last few years, and I believe in our Creator, it has changed my perspective, because the whole argument back then from the right wasn't that gays can't do what they want to do and live their life. The argument was the word marriage. It means something. The word marriage was created by someone to mean something. And that's the left's playbook. Change words. Change words. So they wanted us to change the meaning of what marriage is to anybody who at the moment feels temporarily like they would like to be with the person that they're with. Kind of, sort of, maybe long term, maybe permanent, but definitely for right now, we're locked in. That's not what marriage is. So I get the argument that the right was making back then. Marriage just seems to be a legal term that precedes a divorce. That is facts, because we lost the meaning of the word. We had already lost the meaning before the whole fight for gay marriage. Now, if gay people wanted legal rights that a marriage certificate afforded a wife, then they could have passed a bill, granting specific rights to gay partners. What did they call them? Civil unions, or you could have picked any word. You guys like words? You could have made up a new word. But the whole point of America tax structure and everything else promoting marriage is because that's good for society. It's good for children. It's good for everybody. Families create more people for the government, pay more taxes. They want happy families paying taxes. So yeah, slippery slope. Jazz Wells, your fucking notification scared me. I was like, what the fuck is that? Well, we appreciate the sub. All right, let's finish this out. I'll stop rambling. Let's hear what else Mike says.
I affirm the confusion you harbor in your own minds. You pretended that you wanted freedom, but you...
Now, that is a good point, Amik. There is a lot more things we should be worrying about. Governments, wars, them taking away rights, them taking away guns. And you are correct. A lot of this is all a distraction. Look over there while we do some shady shit over here, aka funnel billions more dollars through Ukraine.
You had that. You wanted more. Okay, there were no laws There were no laws saying that if you're a man and you want to put on a dress and walk around, it's like no one was going to put you in jail for that. Now, you had the freedom, but you wanted a lot more than that. You wanted to reshape our entire culture in your image.
Yeah.
You didn't just want your own lifestyle. You wanted us to participate in it with you.
Yeah.
That's what this comes down to. You are demanding our participation. And what we are saying to you, some of us, is no. Can you get that through your heads? We are allowed to say no.
Yeah.
We are not going to participate.
That's the craziest thing about this whole position.
You are the mouse who wanted a cookie, and you were given the cookie, and you ate it, but then you wanted to eat everything else in the house too. Some people object, finally object, and you break down in tears like a child who has to leave the playground. You push too far, way too far. And now this is the pushback. In summary, you wanted this fight. You asked for it.
In summary,
you demanded it.
You're getting what you wanted.
And now you have it. Now you have it. Whether you like it or not.
All right, shout out Matt Walsh for putting the video together, but more importantly, shout out to Michael Knowles to making the brave statement that he knew he was going to take a lot of flack for, but it needs to be said. It needs to be said. We're done playing the game. We're done playing the game. We're not pretending anymore. Women aren't men. Men aren't women. This is stupid. We're not playing. Appreciate you guys stopping by for that one. Make sure you go check out Matt Walsh's channel. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to support the channel, www.mcclures.store. You can find quality American products there. See if we have anything that might interest you. And we are live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 3:30 to 5:30. Come hang out with us. All right, guys. Take care.